Hi guys, this is Matthew Pekovic from Matt's Movie Reviews, and this is my top 10 favourite movie remakes. And number 10 is The Fly. Now, in the pantheon of great horror movie performances, Jeff Goldblum's turn as an eccentric scientist turned mutant fly ranks high, and it's one of the many reasons why David Cronenberg's remake of the 1958 sci-fi classic, also called The Fly, remains one of the best do-overs since its release over 20 years ago. The Scanners filmmaker infusing his penchant for body horror with a tragic love story between Goldblum and his real-life squeeze, Geena Davis. And number 9 is Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans. Now granted, this is not a straightforward remake of the Abel Ferrara cult classic released back in 1992 and starring Harvey Keitel, but while the hard-hitting tone and unbashful Catholic guilt of the original has been removed, this Bad Lieutenant is still a bad cop gone worse thriller that owes much to its originator. Now what makes this film a totally different monster is Werner Herzog's whacked out yet unmarked direction. He guides Nicolas Cage to one of his best performances in years as a cop on the edge with a smile on his face and crack pipe in his hand. Theirs was a union that was a long time coming, with hopefully more collaborations in the future. Dancing Souls and Iguanas feature in what has to be one of the more original remakes seen thus far. And number 8 is 3:10 to Yuma. Now, 3:10 to Yuma was not only one of the movies which rejuvenated the Western, but it also stands as a remake of the highest exception, pitting super thespians Christian Bale and Russell Crowe in a battle of wheels and gunfire. Yet still removed from under their boots was Ben Foster. He gives a chilling and, I feel, overlooked turn as Crowe's dedicated right-hand man, helping and breaking Crowe's brutal outlaw from the clutches of the law. James Mangold, who also directed Walk the Line and Copland, mixes thrills and action into a potent and innovative update of the 1957 Glenn Ford Van Helsing original. Both are based on the Elmore Leonard short story. And number 7 is A Fistful of Dollars. In this film, Sergio Leone does Kurosawa and Clint Eastwood became a star in an official remake of the 1961 classic Yojimbo. Now, although A Fistful of Dollars is not the first spaghetti western, with the 1961 feature Savage Guns claiming that title, A Fistful of Dollars broke through internationally and was hailed as an original despite it being a shameless redo of a film released 3 years prior. Regardless, Leone created a cinematic revolution that will go on to spur sequels for a few dollars more, and The Good, the Bad and the Ugly, and will make a star out of Clint Eastwood. And number 6 is The Magnificent Seven. Now this is another western, and it is also another remake of Akira Kurosawa classic, because this film was a remake of The Seven Samurai. It's directed by Jim Sturgis, who also directed The Great Escape, and it saw Yul Brynner lead a group of gunslingers against a ruthless outlaw played by Eli Wallach. The likes of Charles Bronson, James Coburn and a scene-stealing Steve McQueen were amongst the packed cast. Several sequels were followed, but none will match the first in quality. And number 5 is Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Directed by Philip Kaufman, who also directed the magnificent NASA drama The Right Stuff. This is a remake of the 1956 sci-fi thriller of the same name, and it effectively tapped into the paranoia of late 70s America, and it converged it with a chilling story of aliens taking over the human race one person at a time. Donald Sutherland led a cast of sci-fi genre stalwarts, including Jeff Goldblum, Veronica Cartwright and Leonard Nimoy, who all turned in solid performances. A memorable ending gave it an edge over the original, with legendary critic Pauline Kael writing, "It just may be the best film of its kind ever made." And number 4 is Scarface. The lethal trio of Al Pacino, Oliver Stone and Brian De Palma combined to remake the 1932 Hal Hawks classic of the same name and created a standalone film which ranks high in a pantheon of the great American gangster movie. Oliver Stone's masterstroke of changing the film's original protagonist from Italian wise guy to Cuban exile brought with it an unforgettable turn by Pacino as the coke-sniffing, F-bomb dropping Tony Montana, and a chance for De Palma to use his forever moving camera over the visual tapestry which was Miami in the 1980s. Scarface will go on to become an influential film in both the movie and music worlds, with Tony Montana a mascot in an excess-heavy hip-hop industry, and it ranks number 4 in this list of movie remakes. Number 3 is The Thing. Now this is perhaps horror legend John Carpenter's best movie, and it was a remake of the 1958 sci-fi horror hybrid The Thing from Another World, and both movies were based on the short story Who Goes There, written by John W. Campbell Jr. The Thing is an unforgettably scary and well-acted classic, and it featured innovative use of special effects makeups by Robert Bottin, who also worked on The Howling. The film starred longtime John Carpenter leading man Kurt Russell, and it focused on a group of military scientists who must contend with a shape-shifting alien being while they're all stuck in the Antarctic with no contact to the outside world. It's a bloody and eerie film, and it works as both uncompromising horror and an intelligent thriller. Another remake is about to be released, and all I got to say to them is good luck. And number 2 is True Grit. Now, the original True Grit was released back in 1969 and won the immortal John Wayne his first and only Oscar as grizzled US Marshal Rooster Cogburn. Yet many felt that adaptation of Charles Portis's novel could have been done better, and among them were the ever-cool Coen brothers, who put opinion into action and remade a beloved western for a new generation. This time cast as Coburn was the dude himself, Jeff Bridges, whose no-nonsense demeanour and grizzled grunts gave the famed character a new dimension, and also a need for some subtitles. Joining Bridges were Matt Damon, Josh Brolin and Barry Pepper. There was newcomer Hailee Steinfeld, who stole the show as a tenacious teen who was determined to gain revenge on the death of her father. Number 1 in my top 10 movie remakes is The Departed. And number 1 is The Departed. That Infernal Affairs is one of the great crime movies of all time gives Brewster how special its 2006 remake The Departed really is. The film was directed by Martin Scorsese, for which he'll win his first Oscar, and it took the 2002 originator and improved upon it in every aspect, with special mention to its performances and screenplay. Now, much of that success comes from William Monahan's cracking script, which took the cat and mouse story between a mole and the police department, played by Matt Damon, and an undercover cop in a mob, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, and it infused it with an energetic pace and underlying sense of the tragic, and also a theological weight towards the slippery morality within the cops and crims lifestyle of its Irish Boston environment. Like I said, Martin Scorsese won his first directing Oscar for this movie, and it's well deserved. And the film also features cracking performances by Jack Nicholson, Vera Farmiga, Mark Wahlberg, and Alec Baldwin.